Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are, everybody. This is LSP here for another day of trading. So as you can see, this was last week's trade. I'm a little bit late on uploading and editing this video, but I'm still only doing two trades, the Tuesday and the Thursday. You can see on the Tuesday trade, $84.16 loss, whereas the Thursday was $112.99 gain, with an overall week of $28.83 profit. Thursday trade absolutely could have been more, but let's dive into it day by day. Do the Tuesday and then the Thursday first. So here on your screen now is the first trade, and this is exactly where I got in. You can see I drew that $4 line, which is actually where the pre-market high was. So that is the resistance point, and I got in at just below $4, I think it was. And you'll see towards the end that I actually sold at a $3.84, which was around an 84 cents loss, $84 loss for that day. What I should have done really actually is wait for the breakout. I was actually buying into resistance, hoping it will pump up. But what I'm trying to learn here is not to hope, but actually look at to see what the confirmation was. The confirmation here would have been if it went over $4. And actually this trade, it does it, and you can see now on your screen, it kind of pumps from that $3.90 all the way back to $4, and it just couldn't pass that $4 mark again, and it rejects and goes all the way back down. This is where I kind of sold off. I did put down as a 5% maximum stop loss, so that is exactly what I did, just over, but I stuck to my stop losses, and that was a good day for that. You can see now on your screen that's where I sold. You can see it straight away. So it went pumped back up to $4 and then tested $4 again, but then it sold back down to $3.74 all the way back down. So I'm actually quite happy with that, the fact that I sold when I wanted to sell. I didn't hold, I didn't let any emotions trying to drive me, and that was definitely a plus, even though it was a red day for this particular day. So here is the first day's trade then, and this was the $112.99 profit. You can see that I'm trading CURX on this particular day, and I'm watching this to try and break the pre-market high, which it just did, but then it does a little pullback, and then that pullback I was actually waiting for confirmation to go above on the next candle, but it just kept on pulling on this particular candle. So that's where I bought in. I think it was an average of 54 cents. So I am breaking one of my rules again, where I'm trading something underneath $1, especially when I am learning. I think this will probably be one of the last ones I trade underneath $1. I don't like it just because it's the trade that you do with underneath $1, it goes into the thousands of a cent, which means it takes a long while to go up. So even though you watch it for a while, hold for a while, it only goes up so much. So I bought in at 54 cents but sold at 58 cents, but that was a big move, where if it was $1 that would have been a bigger move. You can see here on that particular trade I was a little bit at horse, because I thought at first I got in at the right mark, but I should have waited for that red candle to get in hindsight. As you can see then, I also just sold a portion of my trade. So this, I only sold 50% of it, and down in the bottom left you can see I'm already up nearly $200, and that's when I sold up nearly $180, I think it was. I pressed the button and it actually reached down, and the profit was only $112. That was mainly because just because of where the ask price was, or the bid price. So that is just where I got locked in. I think as well what I didn't do is on this particular trade is I never looked at the pre-market highs for this particular trade. So I actually didn't know that the pre-market high for this one was 58 cents, and that's actually around where I got out, which actually then pulled in. Because of that, it shot up to 66 cents, but I'm glad that I stopped that, because that was selling at resistance, whereas on the Tuesday trade I was buying into resistance. But that's the thing, not knowing that, I think that's what I will be doing from now on, is it selling at resistance rather than buying at resistance. or buying above resistance, or buying at support. So these are the things that I'll be looking at changing over the next couple of days of trading. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. Have a nice rest of your day.